Hello, everyone. This is Meena Puri from Ayurveda Healing Center. And thank you for tuning in to my podcast, Igniting Change, Finding Your Fire. So, in this episode, I am going to talk about spirituality, the myths, the misconceptions, the confusion, the need for a spiritual path, the need for community within the realm of spirituality, and the need for a guru, a mentor on this journey. So, welcome. December being the end of the year, this is the time of holidays, and where we might be filled with more love and compassion. There's rest and there's time for introspection. And it's a great time to ponder about this topic and perhaps expand our understanding. Most importantly, understanding how spirituality can weed the way out of our suffering. So, and I'm sure you've heard this before. The truth is, we are spiritual beings. We are experiencing a human life. But what happens in this human life, we get further and further removed or from this truth that we are spiritual beings, and we get stuck in the human trials and tribulations and the challenges. And we continue to solve our problems from the level of the problems. What happens? We don't solve our problems. We create bigger and bigger problems, and then we think, well, this is just how life is. It sucks. This is how human life is. I am doomed. Or so we it becomes very difficult to get out of that closed loop. The closed loop is when we are in a limited way of being, because we have forgotten that we are actually unlimited. We're actually boundless. We are actually spiritual beings experiencing a human life. So just that thought alone can have a huge impact on our perception, how we're feeling, and how we live from day to day. So the ancients knew that when we disconnect from the source of our life, when we disconnect from pure consciousness, or you can call it disconnect from God energy, the one, that leads to disease. Disconnect equals disease. So in order to create health and well-being, we reestablish the connection. And the beauty is that there's nothing we have to do. We don't have to go anywhere. We don't have to have a different job. We don't have to change our partners. We don't have to change our family or our friends in order to be spiritual. So spirituality is not a thing. It's not something that we do out of our day-to-day life. It's really how we live our day-to-day life. So, and many times when we think about spirituality, we get an image of monks meditating on mountaintop, or we think that you have to have all these meditation practices and walk in nature and you're quiet or you're alone, and that doesn't look appealing to many of us. So it makes us feel like we have to leave our current life in order to live a spiritual life. So that's a kind of the misconception that I hope that I can clear up for you. So the truth is, we have a physical body, we have thoughts, we have feelings, we have experiences. And the truth also is that we are energetic beings. And that truth, some of us may still be denying if we are too much in the head or the ego thinking, no, if I can't see it or touch it, it does not exist. That's the whole thing. The most profound and subtle It's subtle, but the most profound and powerful part of us is that what we cannot see, but we can experience it, we can feel it. Okay? So, and the truth also is that we are more alike each other than different. So many times, because of the confusion of spirituality with the religion, many will keep away from waking up to that truth because of the fear that is going to interfere in their religion. So spirituality is a whole new thing all by itself. Okay, all religions, think of the religions as a doorway, as a pathway to spirituality. Whatever door you choose is the door you choose. It's up to you. So I don't want to get into the whole discussion on religion and spirituality because that's a whole new discussion. That's not what this is about. You get to keep your religion. You get to practice and believe in whatever you want to believe in. But to make it more practical, do you want to suffer less? Do you want to find ease and more presence in your life? Do you wish that there was not that much struggle in life? Do you wish that the relationships were easier? Do you wish that your health, your physical health was better? Do you wish that you were able to make better choices and have better and deeper understanding? You wish that you didn't have fears and anxieties, that you wake up every morning feeling new instead of carrying the baggage of yesterday. So, spirituality is the way out of all of this. Spirituality is the answer to the questions that you have that you may not even know that you have, because many times when we can't see ourselves when we are inside the muck or the depth or the darkness of our being, when we are in the middle of our human trials and tribulations and our struggles, we may falsely believe that this is how it is, that life is just like that. But that's exactly why this conversation, there is a much better way of being, and you don't have to leave your life. You can live where you're living, live with who you're living with, continue to do the same job, but you can feel much better and much expanded. So that's spirituality. So spirituality is really connecting with your spirit, connecting with that part of you which is spirit, right? Which is energy, which is something you cannot see or touch, but you can definitely experience it. That's the biggest part of us. So how does that spirit, that spirituality, connect to the universal spirit? Well, it comes from that, right? So the universal spirit, we can call it pure consciousness, the one, the source, God, whatever name you want to give it. It's something bigger than you, and it's something that seems mystical. It is mystical. It is mystical because there's so much unknown to it. And that's actually where the answers come from. So when I talk about the unknown, if you've heard about the parallel worlds, whatever happens in our life is happening in that quantum world, the energetic world. Whatever happens physically, it's happening energetically. So if we can connect to that quantum world, to that energetic world, that connection will lift us out of our day-to-day struggles and trials and tribulations, our day-to-day suffering, because that's the bigger realm. In that bigger realm, it's kind of like the airplane view. When you are sitting in the plane flying home, the city that you're flying into, it looks so much different. You never knew that it was so beautiful because you don't have that view. You're able to look at the whole big picture, how the streets are connected, how when the lights are lit up in a row, how beautiful that looks. So that's the bigger picture. When there's a bigger picture, it naturally uplifts you away from the day-to-day mundane problems. It makes us bigger. Why does that resonate with us? Why do we love I love looking out the airplane. I think most people do. Why? Because it resonates with us, because we are that. We are that. We are that spiritual beings. We do have the bigger view. We do have the connection. We do remember at a cellular level that we are part of the whole, that we are a replica of the pure consciousness. It's just that we have forgotten. In our modern civilization, in our modern lives, we have moved further and further away from the truth of that. And that's the disconnect. So, and that's the disconnect, and that's what leading to disease on every level, from physical all the way to emotional to psychological. And we see so much of mental and emotional upheaval happening in our world. And we see so much physical health. We see so much pain and suffering in the world, all over the world. And it doesn't need to be. So for those of us who are connected, who are waking up and who are following the path of spirituality, they may really be enjoying these times, right? The times are the same, but then there's the other side where people are really, really suffering. So what's the difference? The difference is our wakefulness. When we awaken to the truth, when we awaken to the bigger picture, then we are able to awaken to the truth of our day-to-day life. We are awakened to the questions of, why am I suffering? Why does this continue to happen to me? Is there another way? Why do I think and feel the way I do? Why do I keep carrying on the big baggage of past traumas on my shoulder every morning when I wake up? I wish I could lighten up that load. And you can. So when we talk about the path of spirituality, the mind thinks there's a path out there somewhere that I've got to walk on. No, the path is here in your own psyche, right? It's really waking up to our wholeness. And when we wake up to our wholeness, our problems look different. When I understand that whatever I'm experiencing, my soul has designed for me to experience. When I also understand that when I learn the lesson, I move on to the next learning. When I also understand that I have the power and the choice to change my karma or change my soul's contract because I'm deciding to learn the lesson now, then we move on to the next lesson. So spirituality, the path of spirituality is the path of healing. It's the path of becoming whole. It's a path of understanding our superpowers. It's the path of understanding our humanness and also connecting with our superpowers of power of choice and imagination, and that using those superpowers to understand that we can come out of our predicaments. So it's really when we are awakening to that truth, we naturally become sovereign. So there's a big talk of sovereignty, especially in the day of when there's medical mandates and there's so much confusion on. We don't have a leader who's giving us the correct information perhaps, and everybody's kind of left to their own devices as to what to do. And so we're all beginning to understand that we are sovereign being. We have the dominion. We have the power to choose what happens to our body. We have the power to choose a lot of things. But the becoming sovereign is about connection. It's not a mental concept. It's not something we have to fight about. When we become sovereign, when we become spiritual, when we understand. So even when I say when we become spiritual, I kind of want to change that, because it makes us think that I have to go and earn a degree or I have to go do this to become spiritual. No, you just really have to realize that you are spiritual is lifting yourself out of the day-to-day problems on a bigger view, so you get the bigger view of your day-to-day challenges, because that provides us more options, more possibilities to solve those day-to-day problems and bring ease and joy and purpose and fulfillment and wakefulness to our human existence, so we feel better when we wake up. Awakening has to do with the light. We have more light. It's not just for us. We 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 shine the light on those around us. We show the path to those around us, right? So sovereignty is the same thing to me as, if you embodied sovereignty, it's about spirituality. It's about your connection to source. When you have that connection to your source, when you connect with that part of you, which is spirit, which is vibrational, which is the doer of the whole world, you are sovereign. Nobody can mess with that, right? So, um, and so, and then there is this myth about, well, I'm stuck in this really bad relationship. I'm stuck in my health challenges, my job I don't like. I just don't have time to do this, the spirituality thing. That's exactly the time when you need that. That's exactly the time to start thinking differently. Okay. So spirituality is not separate from our physical health or the lack of it. It's not separate from our mental and emotional health or the lack of it. It's not separate from washing dishes, watching Netflix, or having an argument, or going for a walk. Spirituality is how we are being. So it's about awakening. And the truth is, so many of us are waking up, but we're not aware that we're waking up. You know how that waking up is showing up? We just no longer like conflict. We just really enjoy being in nature because it soothes us. We just don't want to watch the news. We just don't feel like eating horrible food anymore. We just want to pay attention. It feels good to take care of ourselves. It feels good to be good to ourselves. That's spirituality. You're waking up, but you may not be aware that you're becoming more aware. Okay. So, and the study of Ayurveda is really the study of consciousness, is the study of spirituality. And if you know anything about Ayurveda, Ayurveda provides, there's herbs for your health and well-being. There's the unique the nutrition for your unique constitution. There is spiritual psychology. There's the anatomy of spirituality. There's the energy healing. There's the mental and emotional counseling. It's really all in one, because spirituality understands that our physical health is not separate from our vibrational or our energetic health. Our mental health is not separate from our physical health. Nothing is separate. Everything is interconnected. We are interconnected with ourselves. When we can connect with every aspect of our being, we are able to connect with those around us. Don't we need that connection? When there's so much discord and division, when we're so become so hypersensitive to even have a conversation because there's a fear that there's an opposing view, that we're not even willing to listen to the other person. We don't even leave any room open for other person. So I talked about sovereignty. So sovereignty, when we are sovereign being, that's the way to value somebody else's opinion. You don't have to like it. You don't have to agree upon it. You don't have to follow it. But you have to understand that when you are connected to your sovereignty, when you are a spiritual being, so is the other person. You see others as you see yourself, right? So when we begin to see ourselves in this uplifted state, when we begin to see ourselves larger than our body, larger than our day-to-day problems, larger than our relationships that are not working, larger than our predicaments, we understand that others are just the way you are. They may not see it, but if you can see it, can you imagine the unity that that can bring? So spirituality is the answer. So so spirituality is the same as healing your traumas, healing the past. So spirituality is not about, I'm just going to sit and I'm going to give you a bunch of meditation practices and you're going to chant Om and you're going to be uplifted up. There a lot of that is happening as well because there's confusion. We're not grounded in our day-to-day life. We are on this planet. We do have to live a physical life. We do got to eat. We do have to deal with people. We do have to go to work. We do have to clean our dishes. We do have to go clean the snow now outside. And we have to do these things. But we can do them with an awakened mind, with an uplifted mind, and enjoy so much more. So spirituality doesn't mean you don't wash the dishes, you don't cook the dinner, you don't yell at your kids, and you don't get upset at your spouse. It's all of that. But are you taking that and thinking this is it and carrying it day to day, day to day, day to day, day to day, making it bigger than it really is? Are you carrying the baggage of your past on your shoulder every single day and being burdened by it, thinking that there's no way out? It's because you are not looking at the bigger picture. So spirituality is that bigger picture. Okay, so in the olden times, there was this elitism created between, I don't even know if there was elitism created or everything was just the same. We didn't question these things. We didn't question, I'm not very spiritual. I get clients like my spouse is not very spiritual. And I don't understand what that means because everybody is spiritual. They just don't know it. We are spiritual beings, period. Some wake up to that and really live in that expanded state. Some still continue to expand and they are not aware of it. In the ancient times, it was just all around you. But within that spirituality, we live in a polarity world. Doesn't mean we're not going to have some of us who are going to lie. We're going to have some of us who are going to be in conflict. We're going to have, some of us who just are going to create problems for somebody else. We live in a polarity world. It's really up to each one of us. It's really up to each person to become who they are designed to become and share their light with the rest, right? Then more and more people waking up to this truth, the world becomes a better place. So we talk about the 5D, the fifth dimension, the ascension. That's what ascension is. Ascension is not anything outside of us. Ascension is not that we just do this particular meditation or practices and we become that. It's a daily moment to moment living wakefulness, living awareness, embodying that awareness. So in the spiritual life, and another thing that I wanted to talk about. So exactly, that's why there's been so many myths about spirituality, because you think that there's the whole world, that even I think the spiritual community invented this word, the spiritual bypass. I was thinking that last night that word came to me. These words don't belong together. In the spirituality, there's no bypassing because you're awakening. Bypassing is when you're sleeping to the truth of you. So there's no such thing as spiritual bypassing because it's no longer, when you bypass, it's no longer spiritual. You're stuck in the same old limited mental frame and you're stuck in that limited way of feeling and thinking day after day after day. The process of looking at our yesterdays, the process of healing the past trauma, the process of healing the past relationships, the process of forgiveness, the process of acceptance, the process of embracing our fears and turning them into love. That's spirituality. So it's a different kind of joy, right? It's a different kind of joy because you are awake. Every cell in your being, in your body is alive. You're not sleepwalking. You're not pulling a curtain over your eyes that I don't want to see. You have the courage to look at what is. You have the courage to be awakened, to look at the bigger picture, so you can get tuned into what the solutions may be, right? So that's spirituality. So spirituality is in the context of your day-to-day life. Awakening to our day-to-day life, looking at the bigger picture, being able to witness ourselves and others is a path of spirituality. In that path, there's light shed on everything. You get an opportunity to heal. So you don't take that same bag of traumas and tragedies every day with you. You heal them, you alchemize them, because you understand the bigger picture. Okay? So, and another thing, I think it's a must. You must have, there's a guru that is needed to live this way. So when I say a guru, a teacher or a mentor, it doesn't necessarily have to be a person. Your Bible can be your guru. Your Bhagavad Gita or your Quran can be your guru. It can be a book. It can be a set of teachings, principles for life that you live with. It can be the teachings of Mahatma Gandhi or Martin Luther King, whoever you want to pick, right? But it's important to have a guru. It's important to have someone else showing you. You can't see it because you're inside it. I've had gurus and mentors in my life. And so having a live guru, having a human guru is also important. So picking your mentor, who that's going to be. And that's part and parcel of living a spiritual life. Another part of a spiritual life is creating a community. So I talked about when we wake up, when we light the candle, there's light around it. So when we awaken, it's not just, I'm going to be now my spiritual being and it's just all for me. It's actually for others. Don't we think we need that in the world? We need to wake up for others who may be a little bit delayed in waking up. We need more and more people awakened. So I feel so strongly about this work that I am doing. I've been doing this work for the last combined yoga and Ayurveda over 35 years. I come from a lineage of Ayurveda. I lived in times where that's all there was. I didn't even know anything else to be there. So, and I do know that all the trials and tribulations, the tragedies and traumas that I have experienced in my life, I wouldn't have been able to grow out of them if it wasn't for spirituality, if I wasn't able to look at the bigger picture. And that's actually why we go through the traumas, our soul contracts, so we can wake up, so we can learn, we can grow. And I've had many, many teachers along the way. And I really these teachings are so living. They're alive. They're not just something out there. They're in every. My vision is, imagine if more and more people woke up to their truth, and that is happening in every household. What a world we can create. Talk about the new earth, right? So new earth is about that. The ascension is about moving from the head to the heart. The ascension is moving to our multidimensionality, to the fact that we are multidimensional being. We're third dimensional. We live in the third dimensional, or we live in the physical body, but we are multidimensional being. That's what ascension is all about. So, so I have created a program for next year 2022, spiritual mentorship program. It's a year-long program. In that program, so there's nothing that is left out that relates to your health and your well-being, right? So your physical health, your mental, emotional health, your past traumas, the diet, how you're eating, your life, your habits, your relationships, your energetic health, how do your beliefs and your past lives, the energies that we bring with us. So everything is in, it's a pretty comprehensive program. It's a year-long program. And so every month we have three things that are happening. One thing that's happening is a group coaching, a 3 hour long, which I have topics for each month. There's structure to the program, but there's a lot of space also to play, because I've left a lot of space for intuitive flow. Because we don't know what's going to happen nobody knows what's going to happen in March or April, what new information we're going to have to alchemize, what new information that I'm going to have to wake up to and integrate that and alchemize that. And also, so along with the group coaching, there's going to be one integration call, individual call with me, and then a live Q&A. So you have a lot of support. So imagine having a mentor walking you hand in, walk and guiding you step by step and lifting you out of your predicaments for a whole year. It can make a whole difference. And I would love to be your mentor. I have gone through a lot in my life, more than you can imagine. And everybody has gone through a lot in their life. It's not possible not to be human and not to suffer, right? But it's, what do we do with the suffering? How do we come out of it? So I have come out of it, I've healed, and I continue to do this work for myself. I continue to learn, continue to grow, continue to expand. So I have been where you may be going through. And I'm very passionate about this. So more than a program, it's a movement. Imagine if we can all wake up to our truth, to the power to heal within us. If we can eventually all wake up to that teacher within us, to that guru within us. So my job is to help you find that teacher within you. I would love to be your mentor. I would love to guide you. And the details of the program are going to be published below the video. And this program is hugely discounted just because this is the first year. And secondly, I want bigger participation. I want more people to be able to afford it and to be able to attend it. And secondly, if you sign up, if you enroll in the program before December 26th, I'm offering another big discount. And so look at the information at the link below. I also have, on the day of winter solstice, which is December 21st at noon, there's a Zoom Q&A session with me. If you're interested, you simply have questions. Come on the Zoom with me. The link you're also going to find within the link for the program, and sign up for that 21st session. And I would love to have a conversation with you and answer the questions that you may have. So I hope you got something out of this video. And whether you sign up for the program or not, whether you want me to be your mentor or not, I really wish you your journey of human life be filled with more ease, more joy, and that you're able to walk easily with your purpose and fulfill it. And if I don't see you before the Christmas, I wish you a very Merry Christmas to you and your family and a wonderful New Year. Thank you so much for watching.